Hello everyone and welcome back to Full House Sports. I just want to do a quick video after watching Man United game against Brentford, obviously losing 3-1, and just watching Man United and the downfall continuing. And obviously the talking points will be that Bruno Fernandes missed a penalty. And listen, players miss penalties all the time, that's nothing new. But with Bruno, I think there's a real argument to be made now that he is part of the problem at Man United and a big part of the problem. I think that there were obviously talks that he was offered, or they were offered 130 million by Saudi Arabia for him in the summer. I think they could really live to regret not selling him and not take that money and reinvest in it. I know it's an easy bandwagon to jump on, but because he's missed 2 penalties. Listen, players miss penalties. He's not new in that aspect. That's nothing new. That's nothing groundbreaking. But just watching the game, his body language, the fact that he's the club captain, and the fact that in the big moments he's failed again. And he's been a fantastic servant to Man United in what's been quite a lean period for them, when probably he would have looked at it as a player himself and gone, I could move on here, I could go to another club, I could go this place, I could go that place. But I am starting to think now, having watched them, that he is a massive part of the problem, and he is symptomatic of what's going wrong at Old Trafford. Like I say, obviously, a couple of weeks ago, he threw Lenny Yoro under the bus. People were a bit annoyed about that. I know Roy Keane has been quite publicly critical of him. But I just think there's a player there who, and I know it's been, his body language at times is, people have argued, oh, it's passionate. But I would say it's not. It's whingy. And he's whining. And his body language is terrible. In never in a million years is he a Man United captain. They're one of the biggest clubs in the world, and they've got a captain who's whinging, throwing people under the bus and going missing. I think he's a very good player. I think, like I say, in years to come, people will look at him and thank him for what he did at Man United, with staying with them when times were tough. But the other side is there a reason no one's looked at him? Because perhaps his attitude is what puts clubs off him. And now I'd even be as far as to question, is he world class? Would he walk into Real Madrid's team? Would he walk into Bayern Munich's team? Would he even walk into Barcelona's team? Would he walk into Liverpool's midfield? I don't think he would. And I think, like I say, they had the offer of above 100 million in the summer. I think they probably should have taken it and invested it and rebuilt and invested in younger, hungrier players who haven't got the egos and are coming to Man United because they want to play. I think, obviously, he's a part of the problem. There's other problems there when you watch them. I saw or read a statistic that I think 42 games in a row or something that Amorim's changed one of the centre-backs. I think Darren Fletcher said that on commentary. That's not good. You think of all the great sides through history, their centre-back partnerships have been consistent. He's got 3 he puts on because of his system, and he still can't figure out which 3 is the best, which 3 are the best. That's a problem. But like I say, just watching it today, I just thought, yeah. And people will say, well, if he wasn't there, we'd have been a lot worse off. You know, people talk about relegation. Maybe that is the case. And like I say, I think he is someone who in years to come will be treated with the respect he perhaps deserves for the service he's done. But at the moment, his service is poor to the club because his attitude is wrong. And I think, to be honest, he might be looking at it and thinking, I regret not moving to Saudi Arabia. It's just, I say, and by no means am I a Man United fan. You know, I grew up in an era of Man United dominance, but now you expect it. You expect them to go to places like Brentford and lose. That's crazy. It's not. Every week we're churned out the same phrase about them. The players, the club rotten to the core, everything else. How do you stop it? Or is this just the acceptance of this is where they are now and this is the reality? I think Man United fans will say that is that, but they're still shopping as if they are still one of the most dominant forces, and they're not. They're still calling and trying to sign players as if they're one of the biggest clubs in the world. They are, name-wise. They're not performance-wise. Like I say, I thought Bruno Fernandes was really poor today. The penalty, I know people say, oh, it took a long while for him to be able to take it. It did. But still, if you're a big game player, you step up there. And if you're the club captain of Man United, you step up there. And he simply didn't. But yeah, I know it's an opinion that some Man United fans have. Some Man United fans will say, well, no, you're wrong. He's been there. He's been our only outstanding player. Some will say you don't watch Man United every week. You don't know how good he is for us. But I think he's part of the problem. And he's never in a million years captain. Perhaps if you take the armband off him, maybe he'd become a better player, take the pressure off him. But it was poor today. It was really poor for Man United, and they're a basket case. And where do you go if Amorim goes? That's another video in itself. I see Southgate rumoured, but is that going to fix it? You never know. Anyways, guys, thank you very much for watching. If you like the content, please give us a like. Please subscribe. Anything you guys do is greatly appreciated. Thank you.